To India now, and what's making news here? World Bank has projected India's growth rate to 7.3% in the current year and 7.5% for the next two. With an ambitious government undertaking comprehensive reforms, as they put it, India has, and I'm quoting, enormous growth potential compared to other emerging economies, according to the 2018 Global Economics Prospect released by the World Bank in Washington. In 2017, China grew at 6.8%, 0.1% more than that of India, while in 2018, its growth rate is projected at 6.4%, and in the next 2 years, the country's growth rate will drop marginally to 6.3 and 6.2 respectively. The latest report and the latest estimate for 2017 is 0.5% less than the previous projection and 0.2% less in the next 2 years. A lot of math, it might sound like. The fact is, the point being made is that India is growing at a faster pace than China and will continue to grow so in that fashion for the foreseeable future. What makes India's economic future promising is the question. Here's a look at the policies that are turning out to be game changers for the Indian economy. The World Bank itself points to the reason as India's ambitious government undertaking comprehensive reform. The biggest among those reforms is the introduction of a unified central tax, goods and services tax, also known as the GST. It's the single biggest tax reform undertaken by India in 70 years of independence. One the government says is founded on the concept of one nation, one market, one tax. The introduction of GST was extremely complex, warned rating agencies, Fitch, with short-term risks. Essentially, India's $2.4 trillion economy is making a bold attempt to transform itself by removing internal tariff barriers and collapsing 17 central, state and local body taxes into a single GST. How did GST break the barrier between states? Well, it makes movement of goods between different states easier. So in a sense, it can be compared to a free trade agreement between various states in India. The World Bank report, in fact, says that despite the initial setback following the introduction of GST, the big picture for India shows that it has enormous potential, and that's because policymakers think that the GST can achieve various economic goals in one stroke. It can promote the manufacturing sector, boost exports by making production more competitive, create more jobs, improve the investment climate, cut down tax evasion, lower the compliance cost to businesses. Essentially, GST is good for the Indian economy. The other important point to note is the huge jump in India's rankings in the ease of doing business, and that's very, very significant for investor confidence. India jumped as many as 30 spots to secure a place among the top 100 countries in the world on the World Bank's Business Ease Rankings list of 2018. The World Bank then attributed this improvement to sustained business reforms over the past several years, and this Ease of Doing Business Index ranks the nation based on 10 indicators, including starting a business, dealing with construction permits, getting electricity, registering prosperity, getting credit, protecting minority investors, paying taxes, trading across borders, enforcing contracts, resolving insolvency. On all those parameters, India seems to be doing better now. Each one of these indicators carry equal weightage. India's best performance is on protecting minority investors, interestingly, where it ranks 4th in the world. In fact, the CII has observed, and I'm quoting again, the government has strategically addressed choke points of the business ecosystem in a mission mode to improve India's rank, in fact, and break into the list of top performing nations. With the active participation of the states, industry is seeing visible impact at the grassroots in this investment climate. But let's